Qam Yasharahla. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Makakudash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to you, Qam. Or just pushing the truth in love, sincerity, and charity with all humility. Okay, this is the Brother Yashawan for the GMS Bahamas Camp. Back again with another brief lesson. Okay, with another Monday Night Live. Okay. All right. So, yeah. As you know, welcome to another Monday Night Live. All right. So, yeah, before we go on, okay, you've seen the title, okay, Feast of Bacchus. All right. Feast of Bacchus. Okay, so we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that and break it down. All right, so lock here. We can get into that and break it down to give you more understanding, okay, of the Feast of Bacchus, which our people celebrate today. Okay. Now, for that, we can the Feast of Bacchus is really, okay, an ancient Greek ritual. All right. So we can go to Second Maccabees chapter 6, verse 1 to 9. All right, Shalom Malak, Yahweh Shemel Shai Barakatah. Shalom. All right. So, the Second Maccabees chapter 6, verse 1. Not long after this, the king sent an old man to Athens to compel the Jews, which are the Israelites, to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of the Most High. Okay, the king being Ptolemy, okay, saying like, yeah, all right, go to the Jews and like, yeah, cause them to not follow the ways of Yahweh Shai, right? And pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius, and that in Jerusalem of Jupiter the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people, right? Because they had to be grievous those who won't keep no other ways but their powers. Okay, that can be sore and grievous to us as Israelites. Okay, to keep another heathen custom, right? And we know back then that was going off. Okay, we know what the consequences is if we go to keep another custom, heathen custom. But fast forward today, okay, this devil has spread his philosophies and his doctrines and his policies all over the world. Okay, that he causing everybody to basically do the same thing. Okay, now going right back to the verse 1, where you say, now long after the king sent an old man to Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not live after the laws of the Most High. So we seeing that today. Okay, all right, a lot of our people who are Christians, okay, we telling them, come out of that, come back to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, keep his ways, his laws, statutes, and commandments. Okay, but here it is, they are after the ways of the heathen. All right. Verse 4 say, for the temple, 2 Maccabees 6 and 4, for the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles who dallied with harlots. You see that? Who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy place. And besides that, brought in things that were not lawful. So they were doing all kind of madness inside the inside the temple. Okay, so this is why, all right, when you go back in the scriptures, you will see the churches today represent the harlot houses. Okay, the same thing right here. Okay, for what a temple was filled with rioting and reveling by the Gentiles and dulling with harlots, and that's what's going on inside these churches today. Okay, man with man, woman with woman. Okay, this one sleeping with that one husband, that one sleeping with that one wife. These are married people. Okay, this one envying that one envying that other one. This one get malice in his heart, that one get malice in his heart, this one jealous over that one. All right, all this stuff is happening. Okay, and see, besides that, brought in things that were not lawful. Okay, all type of abomination. The altar also was filled with profane things which the law forbidden. All right. So, and we know inside these harlot houses, they filled with a lot of profane things. Okay. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. So all this stuff was going on back then. All right. And in the day that of the king birth, every month they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifice. And when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the feast of Bacchus, the Jews were compelled to go in and procession in. The Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy. Okay, all right, and Bacchus goes back to the Greek god, the Roman god Dionysus, which is the god of wine. Okay, ritual madness. All right, and fertility, tierra, and religious ecstasy, and that's where you get the rapture from, because ecstasy, okay, is a spirit that keep you high. It have you in a trance, like, okay, like you would say you on cloud nine. So the Christians then believe that they're gonna be raptured up when you can't find the word rapture in the scriptures. So they on that ecstasy, they basically serving Dionysius, okay, the god of wine, because when you drink wine and you over excess that, okay, that puts you in the state where you feel so flicking good. And that's how these Christians are. When they go up inside those holidays, they run up and down and all that type of stuff. When the music get down and this and that and all that, they put in the ecstasy transition into something else. Okay, and then they talk about they speaking in that garbage, kill a malana, kill a mosquito, driving 100 thunder. I got a cousin named Montana, this and that and all that. All right. Verse 8 says, moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashion and be partakers of their sacrifices. So this is why the day, when you fast forward the day, the whole world is basically doing the same thing. You see? All right. Except for well, China, they celebrate something else different. Okay, and what is another? I think in some of them African countries, but for the majority, man, everybody celebrate the same thing. Look at Christmas. Okay, look at Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving. Look at Mother's Day, Father's Day. Look at Easter. They doing the exact same thing, offering, being partakers of their sacrifices, sacrificing unto a Greek god. All right. Verse 9 says, and whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles shall be put to death. All right, this is why the Lord tells us in Jeremiah 10, learn not the ways of the heathen. Okay. Then might a man of verse 9 say, and whoso would not conform to themselves to the manners of the Gentiles shall be put to death. Then might a man have seen the present misery. Okay, but the point being, because the topic we're going into the feast of Bacchus. Okay, so in verse 7 mentions feast of Bacchus, which is the ancient feast of Bacchus as honoring Bacchus, the Roman counterpart of Dionysius. And what I give you the meaning a little earlier is that ancient Dionysius is the ancient Greek god, god of wine. Okay, ritual madness, fertility, theater, and religious ecstasy. Okay, you can look up the word ecstasy and get that meaning for yourself and see what I mean. And we know when you have too much excess of wine, you become a whole different person. Okay, so it doesn't exist today under that name, but its themes, okay, is wine excess, celebration, etc. Right? It's clearly survives in several modern festivals and cultural practices. Okay, it wasn't just a celebration, right? It was a spirit of excess, loss of control, and idolatry. Okay, right? Some of these events today are equivalent to the Feast of Bacchus, which is the Mardi Gras or Carnival. Okay, which Carnival is marked by indulgence, which is excess, drinking, okay, drinking of wine, of course, and hard rum and all that, getting yourself drunk, costumes, or basically naked, and temporary freedom before a period of restraint. So when they go on a carnival, it's like they free. Okay, they have that, they basically high on that ecstasy because they marching on that, running up and down, shaking up themselves, dancing, drinking, partying, and all that. Right? Nobody can stop them, telling them, "Oh, you need to put on clothes and this and that." All right. So that's indulgence. That's excess. Okay. That's a temporary freedom because it lasts for so long. So you basically free to do whatever you want to do. Okay. There's no law, no rule. All right. So the same spirit of excess and reversal of norms found in Bacchic rites. Okay, so over here in the Bahamas, we have this thing called Junkanoo Carnival. Okay, and of course Junkanoo. Okay, but the Junkanoo Carnival is just a regular carnival. Okay, naked. All right, alcohol and sexual. Okay, another one is party culture or nightlife. Okay, as in clubs. Okay, music festival, spring break. All right, environments, spring break environments. These are basically mirror the behavioral aspect of Bacchus worship. Okay, intoxication, music, loss of inhabitant. Okay, Feast of Bacchus is centered on intoxication, wine, drunkenness, and abandoning restraint. Okay, it also represents uh, both joyous, right, civilized aspect of partying, and the wild, chaotic, and savage sides of indulgence. Okay, and all of that right there is not the ways of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, that is an example of excess indulgence, of wickedness. You see, Yahushua said they were at the days of Noah war, they were marrying and giving in marriage, partying and drinking and getting drunk and all that. Y'all know how it go. Okay, that would be the same day when Yahushua come back, and they will be doing the same thing. That's why when Yahushua come, they're gonna be caught. Okay, and many of them they're gonna be destroyed. Just like how a few incidents happened. Okay, with people in the club, and the whole roof fall down and kill many of them. Remember that time? But there was a club in Miami somewhere in Babylon, a whole gay flicking club. Same thing happened. Okay, either roof fall up of them, or many of them get shot up or something like that. Okay, the club in one of them Spanish country, the whole roof fall down, killing many of them. Okay, I think the Lord get time to play. The Lord ain't got no time to play. Okay, because that's the part of Bacchic ritual, which is worshiping Dionysius. Okay, so let's get Ephesians, all right, chapter 5 and verse 17 and 18. Okay, they say, wherefore be not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is, and be not drunk with wine, wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit. Okay, because if you get drunk with wine, you'll be given Dionysius power. Plus, wine is a mocker. You see? But then again, these people, they don't care about that because they bog down in wickedness. Okay? They done is go to the harlot houses thinking they're getting spiritual awakening or refinement or whatever. But that just is further them, push them back in the hole. Okay? Let's get Proverbs 20 and 1. All right? They say, wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. So these people, they're deceived by feast of Bacchus. They're deceived by this wine. Okay? Ain't nothing cool with you going on carnival, shaking up yourself, getting drunk, committing adultery, okay, being naked. Ain't nothing cool with that. Nothing. All right? And a lot of them married too. You married, you're drunk. You're married, you're being naked. You're married, you cause another man to commit adultery. Okay? All of these things is affiliated with the feast of Bacchus. Okay? But you want to be wise in this thing, which shows that you would be keeping the laws of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, those that you can keep and having faith in Yahushai. Okay, and that's us. We don't desire to see those things. We don't desire to be a part of those things. Okay, we don't desire to be a part of this world. Okay, Proverbs 28 and verse 7. All right, it say, whoso keepeth the law is a wise son, but he that is a companion of righteous men shameth his father. You see that? Whoso keepeth the law is a wise son. All right? And they say, but he that is a companion of righteous men shameth his father. Why he shame his father? Because he's always flicking drunk with no sense or understanding. This is why the scripture says, give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish. So those who drinking, getting drunk daily, you know, they're basically ready to flicking dead. All right? That's why the scriptures say, "But give strong the strong drink to those who are ready to perish." Okay, Proverbs 31, verse 6 and 7. He said, "Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, ready to afflict and die, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts." All right, let him drink and forget his poverty and remember his misery no more. Okay, so that wine, right? You drinking, okay? You drinking, getting drunk, doing all kind of folly. Okay, when that feeling wear off, okay, it right back to the same thing. Okay, now you drinking, getting drunk every day, all day. Okay, you can seek that bottle because you know, boy, you don't want to, you don't want to be in this world no more. That's why you drinking, getting drunk every day. Okay, because of all your troubles or whatever you have, you just want to drink your life away. Okay, see, most of the time, men try to drink their life away because of life situation they may be in at that time. Okay, see, the Most High ain't against wine itself, but against losing control and Bacchus worship glorify that loss of control. You see, so that loss of control, all right, uh, you given Bacchus, you given Dionysius that worship, okay, not just in the celebrating Jonkin and Carnival, but in everything else. Okay, when you lost control of this and when you lost control of that. Okay, so all of these festivals are acts of worship to another god. Okay, Bacchanal or at Carnival, Jonkanu. Okay, going to the clubs, spring break. All right, all of these is a part of giving Dionysius worship. Okay, because all of them is affiliated with wine, party, drinking, getting drunk. Okay, excess, committing adultery, sissy in Iran. All right, let's get our Exodus 20. Okay, Exodus 20 and 3, because the Lord say, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." Okay, and you Israelites, many of y'all are giving your glory to another. All right, so the Most High said that you should have no other God before Him. All right, but the people eat and drink and rise up to play. Okay, Paul said, "Neither be idolaters." Okay, but the people them rise up to play. Let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 7. Okay, they say, this is Paul speaking. "Neither be ye idolaters, as was some of them." Okay, as was some of them. So now that you repent, the Lord is saying to Paul, "Neither be idolaters as some of them." As it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play. What do you think that rose up to play is? All right. Okay. So they rose up to play, which is to celebrate an idol and another God, which we are seeing today. That's when they rose up to play. Okay. What looks like what looks like a party, okay, can actually be spiritual allegiance. Okay, so Israel fell into the same pattern, eating, drinking, then turn into idolatry. Okay, that's them rising the plate. Okay, now let's get where Paul quoted that from in Exodus chapter 32. Okay, we can take it at verse 3 to 7. Okay, and this is when we was in the when we just came out of house of bondage. They say Exodus 33, 32 and 3. And all the people break off the golden earring which were in the ears, and Aaron brought them to Salah and brought them to Aaron. Right? So that let me just jump up. Okay, let me just jump up at verse 1, start at verse 1, and I will show you something right here. And this is proof that us men of Israel can wear Aaron. Okay, Aaron, we put in the ears. Exodus 32 and 1. And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down off the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, Up, make us gods. And this is how they went off. Which shall go before us, this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we won't not what become of him. We don't know what become of him, because they didn't see him for so long. And Aaron said unto them, Break off the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them unto me. You see, so that's man and women. That's male and female. Okay. And all the people break off the golden earring which were in their ears and brought them to Aaron. And he received them at their hand and fashioned it with a graven tool. After he had made it a molten calf, they said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And Aaron saw it. He built an altar before it, and Aaron made a proclamation and said, Tomorrow is a feast to the Lord. And they rose up early on the morrow and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings. And the people sat down to eat. Check this. This is where Paul quoted this is where Paul quoted the same precept. Okay, 1 Corinthians 10. Okay. And they rose up early in the morrow and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offering, and the people sat down to eat and to drink and rose up to play. You see? That's them then okay. That's them then offering up sacrifices and celebration to another God. Okay, verse 7 say, And Yahweh said unto Moses, Go, get thee down, for thy people which thou broughtest up out of the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves. You see? So the same thing today when they go on carnival, okay, Bacchanal, okay, Junkanoo Carnival and Junkanoo, okay, they corrupt themselves. Okay, they celebrating another God. When you go in the club and you drinking and you going on and doing all of that, okay, when you go on spring break, all right, you're going on, but see, on the spring break, you're going to drink, party, and have fun. Celebrate, and that's a celebration of another God. Okay, so this is why Yahweh said this as well. Let's go to Matthew 24. Matthew 24 was 37 to 39. Okay. They say, But as the days of Noah were, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. For in the days that were before the flood, they were what? Eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and they knew not until the flood came and took them all away, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Okay? So they are in the works of the flesh. Okay? Bacchanal or bacchanalia involves sexual immorality, chaos, and no restraint. Okay? They feel free of that ecstasy. Okay? Of Dionysius, the Greek Roman god. Let's go to Galatians chapter 5, verse 19 to 21. Okay? These are the works of the flesh. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness. So when they go to Bacchanal and Carnival and Drunken Carnival and all that stuff, and they wind up themselves, shaking themselves, basically naked and all that, what you think is happening? Adultery, fornicating. Fornicating is spiritual adultery and man on man. Uncleanliness, man on man, woman on woman. Lasciviousness, okay, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulation, wrath, strife, sedition, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, reveling, and such like. Right? Okay, notice it mentioned drunkenness and revelings, which is drunkenness is intoxication and revelings is wild parties and such like, of which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. You see? So all them taking part in this feast of Bacchus, okay, the Lord ain't dealing with them. Okay? The Lord ain't dealing, even those inside the hallowed houses, because it's basically the same thing. Okay? Everything is happening inside them. All the works of the flesh, adultery, fornication, uncleanness, all them inside there. All right? So these three are not separated. Okay? So these three are not separated issues. They are all together. Okay? So events like carnival and drunken cultures carry the same pattern as feast of Bacchus. Indulgence, okay? Masculine identity, all right? Because on these carnival, they put on their masks and all that type of stuff. And celebrating of excess. Indulgence, okay? Maybe not the same name anymore, but it's the same energy in a different form or scene. All right? So we got to be sober. Okay? We got to be sober in these times. Let's get 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. It said, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. All right, so sober goes back to temperance. Circumspect, watch. Okay, you don't want to lose self-control. Okay, as these people do when they get high on ecstasy. Okay, Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 and 23. Okay, they say, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, keeping up the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith. These people didn't want that. Meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. So having the fruit of the spirit is self-control. Okay, you have this, then you will be separated. Okay, then you'll be separate, Salah. Okay, if you have this, you'll be separated. Okay, but obviously the world love its own, and they are part of the world. All right. So let's get Romans 13 and 13 with this last precept. Okay. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting, right? And not in drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying. Why? Because all of these are the works of the flesh. All of these are in support of Dionysius. Okay. So if you walk in those things, then you will be giving your support to a false god. Okay. You'll be giving your support to idolatry. Okay, which is serving another god. So the feast of Bacchus was essentially the celebrating of the flesh while disconnecting from discipline and from Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So modern society has it as entertainment, but the scriptures identify the root of it, which is idolatry, which will lead to death. Okay, ain't no other way to put that. All right, ain't no other way to put that. Okay, so hey, celebrating Bacchanal or Carnival or Mardi Gras or Junkanoo Carnival or Junkanoo. Okay, hey, the Lord ain't down with that. Going to clubs, partying, drinking, getting drunk. Okay, being intoxicated, over indulging in excess, drinking and doing all manner of wickedness and folly. Okay, the Lord ain't down with that. Spring breaking, because all of these things is affiliated with the Greek god. As long as he can get you to party and drink and getting drunk, just like the scriptures say, they eat, they drink, they get up to play. They get up to play, which is to go worship another god. They get up to run and get drunk. Okay, wine and dine. All right, committing adultery, sissy in Iran, being uncleanliness, being unclean. Okay, doing all manner of wickedness. Okay, that's what the people have did. Okay, and when you go back to Second Maccabees chapter 6, you will see that Ptolemy sent a man to Israel to compel them to leave their ways of the Lord and to follow the ways of the heathen. And this is why us today as Israelites through the four winds doing the exact same thing what the Lord tells us not to do. Okay? But the Wadi of Hashem Yahushai for waking up his elect in these times. Okay, because the scripture say the election praise his holy name, which was scattered in the land of their captivity. All right. So the Lord is only going to save a small number, a remnant. Okay. I have 10 fingers. The Lord may save 2 fingers. All right. So you see how large that is. This 5 on this side. Okay, and I can put down 2. So I have 8 fingers holding up. The Lord only can save 2. Okay. The other rest he can destroy. All right. So yeah, man. So with that, hey, Lord willing, this lesson was edified. Okay, in the service papers. Okay, shalom on the common board. Shalom, Ak. Okay, Ak and Ak I'll be watching and tuning it. Okay, staying strong, giving all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Shalom, my brother. Uh, uh, Damawathia. Shalom, brother. All right. Yeah, man. Okay. But let's read this last precept, brother, what you post here. 1 Peter 4:18. And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and sinner appear? All right. So the Lord is going to save his people, okay, that which was scattered, okay, and only a small number is going to be saved, okay. So yeah, brother. Shalom and a Baba Qam Yasharahla.